Welcome back to the garage. Today's video is going to be the first start of my 1959 International AC-170 four-wheel drive. Now, full disclosure, before this video goes any further, I started this process a little over a week ago. What happened was the weather changed. It got really nice outside in the 70s. The sun wasn't beating down anymore. It was beautiful weather, but my allergies hit me probably harder than they ever have in my life. So what happened was I basically lost my voice, and in some of the videos, some of the clips, you may not be able to even recognize my voice in those. And some of the footage I ended up having to just kind of scrap because of that. So what'll happen is you'll end up going into some of the video, and it'll probably cut back to me where I'm going to explain what happened and do that kind of off screen. But anyhow, hopefully you can still sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Now I'll get in here and show you a better view, but I was looking around. Looks like I'm going to have to take one of the spark plugs and shorten it because it looks like it's been either melted in half or, I don't know, broken in half or what. I just want to show you this awesome battery hold down. Now I think you buy these at Tractor Supply. This is like a farmer battery hold down. So I'm going to take this fancy device off of here and get this old battery out of the way. Now I hope you've watched my videos enough to realize that I'm only joking around about the farmer battery hold down. I mean, you use what you can get, and no offense to any farmers. Try to get this old battery out of here if I can. Boy, these connections are rusty. Try to see if there's a date on this battery too. Might give some kind of explanation of when this truck was run last. Alright, so I tried to get a better view. Let me see if I can hold you down here. You can see the end of that spark plug wire is broken or melted off, and the other side of it is hanging down here. So I think I'll be able to cut this shorter because I've got quite a bit of wiggle room. And one thing I didn't realize, the coil's gone, so I might have to run down to the parts store, see if they got one of those. So let me get this spark plug wire off of here and maybe track down a coil. Okay, so what happened next was I went to take that spark plug wire, and there would have been enough room to have cut it and shortened it and still put it back on the engine. Now I tried that. The spark plug wire ended up being so brittle that whenever I cut the coating off and tried to pull it off of the fiber, it just snapped in half. So luckily I had a set of 8 spark plug wires that I bought for a project a while back that were wrong. They were just sitting in my parts corner in my garage. So I took them off and I put them on the first 4 cylinders that I could get to. Got the truck drugged to a different spot here, and I need to finish cleaning the cab out so I can get this doghouse taken off of the back of the firewall here, and I can get to the back of the engine to replace the spark plugs and the spark plug wires. So let me get the camera set up. I'll get a vacuum out here and I'll clean this interior out as best I can. I may even try to pull this seat out, so let me get you set up and we'll go from there. This does not appear factory in any way. It's just a metal frame they put around these levers and covered it with wood. You might have been able to see in the video I was pulling the old wood off. It just kind of fell apart. The next issue that I'm going to deal with is the seat. I need to get inside of the floor mount for the seat to get these bolts out, but I'm not going to do that. You can see I've got one right there. It's got 2 nuts on it. That's very nice. I'm sure that was factory. And I got one back here. But what I'm going to do is just take my electric powered adjustable wrench and get those bolts cut off, get the seat out of here, because I've got a ton of stuff. I don't know if the camera will pick it up. Doesn't look like it will. I got a ton of stuff in between these brackets that I need to clean out before I vacuum this interior and get it all cleaned up. Okay, so a pretty amazing transformation, if I do say so myself. The seat frame gave me a bit of trouble, but I still got it out of here, and I'll go over some of the stuff that I found back here in the truck. I found a couple links. I'm not really sure what they're for. It may just been something that somebody threw in the cab when they were using it themselves. I got the yoke, of course, which I got from the previous owner. Old screwdriver, a gently used pair of channel lock pliers, 2 ignitions. They both turn, but I don't know why they'd be under the seat. They both have the key in them, so it's not like somebody lost the key for this truck and had to go replace the ignition, but don't know why. Another half of a pair of channel lock pliers. When's the last time you seen a can of Big Red soda? I know they have bottles now, but I think they stopped doing that in the 90s or something. I got the oil bath air breather, which I took off the engine myself. I found the accelerator pedal that goes in the floor, or a accelerator pedal. I think that's a, is that a Thunderbird emblem? I'm not really positive. Got 2 full cans of brake fluid. I've got the floor mats that came out of here, and I got a whole bunch of rubber straps and a old bottle of injector cleaner and a really neat old glass bottle, which is pretty awesome. Old piece of plexiglass, and that just about does it for what I found inside, other than this big bucket of trash. But the next thing to do is to go ahead and soak down these bolts. I think there's only 2 out of probably the 8 or so that originally held this in. So I got to take them out of here so I can access the back of the motor. Okay, so I had to put the camera down for a moment to take that cover off of the back side of the engine. Now, these bolts that hold it in are supposed to go through the firewall and go into an encapsulated nut that's welded on the back side of the firewall in the engine bay. Now, there was only 2 bolts that were holding this on, and one of them on the driver's side over here had the bolt that went into the nut like it's supposed to, and it came out easily. The one on the other side just went through the firewall and had a nut, a regular nut, on the back side, so I had to get some extra help taking that off of there. But no big deal, got him out of there, got the cover off. I also had to undo the PTO cable that you can see is kind of bound up over there out of the way. Now, this kind of reminds me of a funny story from tech school. I, after class one day, went over to a guy that I was going to school with's house to check out an S10 Blazer that he was working on. He had a square body S10 Blazer with a built small block Chevy shoved down into it. Really nice paint job. It was a really nice looking rig, and we were talking about it a little bit. I said, that's a really nice project you got. And the guy's dad that was in the garage that was standing there kind of chuckled and said, yeah, it is a nice rig, but he's going to really find out how hard it is to work on that engine when he's got to pull the carpet out just to change the spark plugs. Now, I understand exactly what he was talking about now. With this engine sitting so far behind the cowl, it is definitely hard to work on. I mean, I had to basically strip the interior to get that cover out, but still got the job done. I have a screwdriver down here. I cleaned out around the spark plug, and I also took some compressed air and blew out any debris so I can get in here, take the spark plug out, take it down to a parts store, match it up with the right one. That way I won't have to guess. Well, it doesn't look really bad, luckily. I mean, it's not fouled out. Doesn't look like there's any kind of sign of damage on this, so I think I'll be good. Now you may be able to tell from the video what happened was the truck did start up and run, but now it's got some kind of a carburetor issue. It's probably the fact that there's some old trash inside of that carburetor, probably some old varnished fuel. I probably should have taken the carburetor off of the truck and cleaned it up to begin with, but the fact of it is I wanted to see if it would run like it was, and it did. So look forward in the next video. What I'm going to do is pull the carburetor off of the truck, clean it up, put it back together, put it on the truck, and if it does start, run, and idle fairly good, what we'll end up doing is putting the four-wheel drive in and taking that for a little spin down in my field. Now, if you do remember, the rear drive shaft towards the bottom where it hooks to the axle, the yoke was cut with a torch from the previous owner. So what I'll do is just remove the drive shaft completely in the back, and we'll drive around in front wheel drive mode. But thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment or a question down below. Consider subscribing if this is the kind of content that you're into. And just a friendly reminder that it doesn't matter if you're working on your project in a garage or in your driveway. What matters is that you go out there, you do the job yourself, and you learn more about your project, whatever that project may be. Now that this video's over, how about you go outside and work on something? My name is Zane, and I'll catch you next time.